Slitterhead. Such a dirty name.
It sounds gross.
It is gross.
What do you mean?
It,
Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. So Silent Hill creator and veteran PlayStation devs announced new horror game Slitterhead. Bokeh Game Studio has released a new video showing off gameplay for its first in development title, Slitterhead. So, um, headed up by Keiichiro Toyama, the Japanese creator who is known for working on Silent Hill, Siren, and the Gravity Rush series of games. So this guy's
God
legit.
damn. Yeah.
Has revealed at the first trailer for its upcoming horror game, which was today revealed as Slitterhead. It does sound like a Japanese horror movie. That
Hmm.
title is totally a Japanese
Something
horror
out of the
movie. Yeah,
80s.
yeah. So,
Tetsuo, the Iron Man over here.
so his studio is called Bokeh Game Studios, and this is their first game. And have you seen the trailer?
I have not. I didn't even know about this until you brought it up.
Okay, so let's. I'm gonna turn the sound
I don't
off.
want you to get a copyright strike.
Well, this isn't a YouTube video here. I don't think so.
It
All right.
says watch on YouTube. It is.
Oh, it
It has
is.
YouTube AI or UI. Jeez, AI.
Oh, yeah.
There is no AI in YouTube.
Oh, wait, no, no. This player here isn't a YouTube player.
But
See,
the UI is very YouTube-like.
yeah, but I think because it's not the actual. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So, I just turned
You
the
know, I
sound off.
still have yet to play Siren. I just recently purchased Siren on the PS3.
Uh-huh.
I forget Blood something. Um, during the PS3 scare
Yeah.
of
Yes.
geez
Yeah.
Louise, this
The
is
great
gross.
PS3 scare.
But this also looks very much like a no offense, like an Xbox game.
Yes.
Like I'm talking like OG Xbox. That's what
Yes.
I'm saying.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about the graphics. It is a very small studio, and this is their first game.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to look amazing. It's just I'm just commenting on that.
But what's going on looks insane.
Yeah, what is happening?
I
Is this
don't
an action game?
I
Because that
don't
dude
know.
just hatcheted. Whoa,
Yeah,
is
that
that
looks.
is that Kowloon?
And then watch this part. Watch
Does this
this.
take place in like the 90s?
It might.
Oh, nice, Akira.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Watch this. This part is freaking awesome.
Oh, that was horrific.
I know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all they showed. So, I mean, what do you think, man? I think that looks pretty cool.
I'm already down. I'm already down. I mean, we need more of these survival horror type games, especially in this day and age. I feel like it's becoming a lost art. Uh, I just don't see them at all, really. Resident Evil 8, as fun as it wasn't anywhere near as scary, or it didn't even capture that kind of sense of dread that Final Fantasy Resident Evil 7 did.
Yeah, and they did that on purpose, which is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because
And I mean, the entire genre is about being scary, and it's like we gotta tone it down.
it's about feeling like something's watching you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you have
Like,
to be. You have. It's on edge. It elicits an emotional and like physical response. Um, and a lot of the best survival horror games are on older consoles, and they are just locked there and are super expensive. They're
yes.
ridiculously expensive.
So, tip for people that don't know, horror games in general, but even the ones especially the ones that aren't that well known, go up in price astronomically over the years. So, if you're like a collector, I would get this collector's edition of this game when it comes out because it's done by a small studio, and like you said, it's not a common genre anymore.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be printed in low quantities. So this game could end up being worth a lot down the road for collectors.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I love seeing games like this because it's not just an old forgotten genre. It's creative. You know what I mean? Like that whole trailer, like you don't know what the hell's going on. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
uh, and it reminds me of an '80s, '90s horror Japanese
Yeah.
anime or something. You know what I
And
mean?
indie studios are kind of trying to pick up the slack. I mean, we've got stuff like Outlast. And Layers of Fear really doesn't do it for me. Medium tried to capture Silent Hill, but there was no bite to it. You can't even die in that game.
Yeah,
Um, there's stuff like Tormented Souls that just recently came out, which is like supposedly trying to get that Silent Hill, so that's Resident Evil, old school vibe, which
yeah.
I have yet to play. I need
I
to play it.
I haven't played this yet,
Yeah.
but it's on PS5 as well as the older consoles. And this one is a fusion of Resident Evil, the older Resident Evils, and Silent
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
It brings the management system, the inventory management system, and the kind of well, I guess you could say the controls and the look are both similar between the two genres. But yes, this game right here, Tormented Souls, this is a hidden gem right now. So I haven't played it yet. I do own it. I am going to play it. Um, but yeah, this game looks to be on the level of this game,
And then
Slitterhead. Yeah.
and then there's another game. I'm forgetting the name. It's called Remothered.
Yes. Yes.
Remothered is in the style of Clock Tower.
Okay.
And the Clock Tower games I just adore. I love the Clock Tower games. So
And what about
that
the plague
A
games?
Plague's Tale,
Yeah, Plague's Tale game.
Innocence, those are less survival horror and more like story driven adventure games with
Yeah.
like some scary elements in there, but it's not survival
Okay.
horror per
Okay.
se. Um, and so we've got those like indie survival horror games, but in terms of like a larger, more how do you say it? People with notoriety. People with
Yes.
notoriety.
Yes.
We've got these bigger names that are pretty much fathers of the survival horror genre. Akira
Yeah.
Yamaoka, in terms of that music that he made for Silent Hill, it's iconic. Everyone knows how his sound is.
Yeah.
So I'm excited just to hear music from him in general. Like that's
Yeah.
how the Silent Hill 3 soundtrack. Say what you will about Silent Hill 3, but mwah, love it.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and then Keiichi Toyama,
Yeah.
Keiichiro, is that what his name?
Let's look it up.
I forget. I apologize if I said it incorrectly, but the fact that that name is attached to it, yeah, Keiichiro
Yeah.
Toyama.
Yeah.
The fact that his name is attached to it is quite
It's
large for
big.
people
Yeah.
that are privy to the genre, and
Yeah.
so it'll attract word of mouth. And just the way it looks, it's got me excited. Even though like I said, like you said, the budget does show in terms
Yes.
of its dated visuals.
Yeah.
As long as it gets the tone and the story right.
And the
uh
consistency is
yes.
yeah, as long as there's
Yeah.
consistency along the assets, it's fine. And this will be their first game. So this will probably be a little rough around the edges,
Hmm.
but I'm more than willing to forgive that to get more of these types of games.
Like I still need to play The Evil Within 2, and that actually got some good critical reactions. I'll probably play it sooner than
Yeah.
later. But I actually didn't like The Evil Within 1. I
So
felt like it was like kind of a soft retread of Resident Evil 4 in a way, and it
yeah.
just didn't capture it for me. What were you gonna
So
say?
Evil Within 2,
Mm.
the structure of the game, from what I understand, is different from the first one.
Yes. No.
So
Yeah. No. It's an
yeah,
open world game.
it's an open world game. So that's why people like the second one more.
Well, not just because it's an open world game, but I think tonally and story wise, they fixed a lot of things as well.
Yeah.
Because Evil Within 1 was, at least when I initially played it, was kind of a mess.
Hmm.
And I will be replaying it before diving into 2,
Hmm.
just to get a refresher.
Yeah.
But from what I recall, I was just like, what is going on? This is incomprehensible. And the
Yeah.
gameplay was just I. It was I.
Yeah. And um yeah, and so yeah, there's yeah, I would say there's a lot of good ones on the PS4
Mm,
generation. So yeah, if you're like dying for those type of games, look at the PS4. You can still get a bunch of them for cheap right now on eBay. That's what I did. I bought about 4 or 5 different horror games that I never played from the PS4.
Which ones would you recommend?
Evil Within. Let me look over my collection real quick. Yeah, Evil Within. Um, and we have obviously you have to play Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Um, I just
I mean,
let
the
someone.
entire Resident Evil series is represented on current generation hardware in general.
Yeah.
So I really do like that. Say what you will about Capcom,
Hmm.
but at the very least, they are making sure that historically speaking, some of their games are still on current gen platforms,
Yes.
which is great for people that that haven't experienced them. Like Resident Evil 1 remake is one of my favorite games of all time. Like Resident Evil 2 remake dethroned it, but Resident Evil 1 remake is still an incredible game. Like I played it recently again, as well as Resident Evil 2 in anticipation for Resident Evil Village, and I was trying to work my way through it, but I couldn't play throughout the entire series, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But oh man, oh yeah, I downloaded Soma. I still have yet to play it. Outlast is okay. I wasn't so much a huge fan of it.
Days Gone. This is another one that.
I need to play that.
Yes.
I do own it.
So we have.
Metro. I like the Metro series.
There's a lot of people on this channel that love Days Gone. A lot of people
Yeah,
that have
but here's the
commented.
thing. Would you say that's a survival horror game or is that an action game with zombies?
I would say it's survival horror. I would say, yeah. I would say zombie is a horror uh, subgenre that is kind
Mm,
of a little played out, but people really enjoyed this game,
fair.
and they were
No,
very upset.
I do need to play it.
They were very
Upset what?
upset when the studios was basically said they're not going to make another one, that they're going to work on um, The Last
That's
of
the
Us. Yeah.
gotcha.
Dying Light. That's another one.
That looks like a lot of action though, from what I saw.
Yes, that's a
Um,
more action type game.
Yeah. Oh yes,
Yeah,
Fatal Frame just came
yeah.
out. I purchased it. Have yet to play it though. That's unfortunate. Alan Wake Remastered. That's nice. It's a fun game.
Dark
Uh,
Pictures Anthology.
it's not so survival horror-y though. It's pretty actiony.
Uh, yeah, I haven't played any of these games. So yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
and then there's one more that
It's just that like the heavy hitters of survival horror have already come and gone, and
yes,
they were like on the PlayStation 2 era. Survival in terms of survival horror. Um, I'd say Silent Hill 2 is definitely one of the best survival horror games I've ever played in my entire life.
yes, it is a
Uh,
very well. We used to play when you lived.
Yeah,
We'd go to your house and stay up all night playing Silent Hill,
yeah.
and it was at the time the graphics weren't even that great at that time.
No, are you kidding me? The cutscenes were
No, no, I
incredible.
mean like the game itself. Like
Mm.
it but that's
All
not
that
what it was.
fog
Yeah, that's not what it was about. You know what I mean? It was about the atmosphere that the game
created, yeah.
created. And if you
Yeah.
played it at night in a dark room with your friends or alone if you're really brave,
Yes,
um that's something that I guess we've kind of lost, you know what I mean, as we've gotten older.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like Death Stranding had tinges of horror in it.
Yes.
Like it actually made me jump, and I was just
Yes.
like, "Yo, when is Kojima gonna get Silent Hill? Like, what the hell?"
When the what are they called again? The shadow people in
Oh, BTS?
BTs. When the BTs like started coming up from the ground and like grabbing you, that's when
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, this game is kind of a little bit like a horror game in a way."
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And I would love when I would trigger the BTs and one of those big like they look like lions almost.
yeah.
They would come out and chase you around, and you would skate down the black ooze.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. It was like it was a feel of a horror game in a sense.
yes.
But the world was just so beautiful, you weren't scared. You were just like, oh look at that
Well,
mountain
you
over there.
also we were a little underpowered,
You were a
and
little. Yeah.
That assisted in kind of like the pressure. It's like the anxiety of like, oh my gosh, how can I survive this encounter? This thing is faster than me and it's messing me up.
And it's overwhelming. Like
Yep.
there's so many of them. You know what I mean? And it's like once they got you, you just had to kind of run your course and hope you could get out alive.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see games like Slitterhead coming back, and I'm definitely going to support it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I want
Definitely.
to see more of those games.